You were lying to us?
I never lied to you. I showed you the right truth. Britta, when we met, you were an eclectic anarchist. How did you become the group's airhead?
Thank you.
And Shirley, you've gone from an independent divorcee striking out on her own to a bankrupt fry cook hoping for a call from her husband. Troy, your entire identity has been consumed by your relationship with another man.
You found my Clive Owen Tumblr.
And what happened to Annie, the unstoppable go-getter?
Well, there was that gas leak last year.
So now that my channel is back on its feet again, I figured I should make a video about the show that got me an audience to begin with. Community. At the time I'm writing this, over 50% of my views come from my 2 videos defending some of the less popular seasons of Community. Obviously, I was gonna make a video about season 4 one day. The problem is, I can't make a video like my other 2, because I really do think season 4 is where the show misses. So instead of making a video defending a season I don't love, I decided to make 2 videos. One where I take a look at the best of the worst season, and one where I look at the worst of the worst. They will be coming out a day apart, so please check out the other. Now, Community Season 4 is similar to Season 6 in the sense that behind-the-scene changes caused a lot of challenges for the season. That said, the Season 4 change is one that's a lot easier to explain. Dan Harmon, the creator of the show, was no longer on it. In fact, he wasn't the only person who left. The Russo brothers, now known for their Marvel movies and that one movie with Tom Holland's, had also left the show after being on it for 3 seasons. The creative forces behind the show were gone, and the people left on the show had to keep on while trying to mimic a style that wasn't their own. This was extremely apparent. Season 4, Episode 1 was the first episode I watched as it aired, and even as a 13-year-old child, I knew it felt off. I was super happy to catch an episode of a show I had only seen through reruns until then, and I enjoyed the episode, but I knew something wasn't right. And this feeling persists through most episodes of the season. I'd say Community Season 4 isn't bad, it just feels like there's something missing. Though that doesn't mean the season does nothing right. There are funny moments in most episodes, and there are 2 episodes in particular that work for me. Intro to Knots and Basic Human Anatomy.
What does this mean?
It means we're taking an old man down. You're welcome.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
So I rewatched the entirety of the season to make this video, and a trend I noticed was that this season tried to redo things that had been done on the show before a lot. And most of the time, it just didn't work out for this season. Intro to Knots is an exception to this rule for me. Don't get me wrong, it is another Christmas episode, and it is, to a certain extent, yet another bottle episode where everyone is stuck arguing in a room because Annie overreacted. That said, what saves this episode to me is the simple fact that the characters really feel like themselves, more than they had through most of the season. Sure, the opening to the episode itself feels a bit rushed, and the episode does have moments that maybe shouldn't have made the cut, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because the character interactions felt right. Yeah, most of them don't normally celebrate Christmas, but they're a tight group of friends who want to celebrate something together. At this point in their friendship, it makes sense. Of course, Troy would want Abed to open his gift early. It's a great gift, and it's his best friend. He didn't have the patience to keep it from him. I don't with my friends. Abed himself is using the situation for entertainment, and he's 100% right to do so. I do this with my friends all the time. I might be toxic, but hey. Obviously, Jeff would cut corners on his work, even with all the growth he's gone through until this point. He never put school over his actual interests. Dean Spite pretending to be Kevin, this is still the most Chang-like Chang has been all season. Kidnapping a man for his friends is the chaotic Chang energy I know and love. It also makes a lot of sense to me that Shirley is in line for best of class, and it makes even more sense that Annie wouldn't even consider that it could be anyone but herself. And Britta feels surprisingly grounded, which is when her character works best for me. Oh, and don't even get me started on how in character it is for Chevy Chase to not even be bothered to show up in this episode, a trend I noticed in this season quite a bit. Also, I really like Professor Cornwallis overall. He's one of the strengths of the season, and his way of creating conflict within the group as a means to give himself actual company really works with the general insanity of the series. Overall, the group dynamic really works in this episode, to me anyways, and that's kind of what makes the show. Not every episode has to be a banger. As long as the show delivers on the characters, fans will want to come back for more. And this episode delivered what the study group felt like in the previous 3 seasons. In a season where they often felt kind of off. This is really appreciated and a good reminder of why the show works.
Hi, thank you all so much for inviting me to my first Christmas. Oh, Annie explained to me that no gifts means bring gifts. I'm getting it. No means yes.
So this is Christmas. Just this.
Now, when it comes to basic human anatomy, there is a very simple reason for why this episode works. It was written by Dean Pelton himself, Jim Rash. Rash had actually won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay the previous year, and the writing talent is not wasted in this Freaky Friday homage episode. It feels like an episode that would have made it in a Harmon season, because instead of just doing an homage to echo previous seasons, like the multi-dimensional paintball episode or the Muppet episode, the idea actually serves the plot of the episode itself. Despite all his growth, Troy still lives in something of a childish world, and he hasn't needed to face a situation like a breakup with a friend yet, a situation that is not obvious at all. It was also nice to see them lean into a trope because someone besides Abed needed it. It shows that Abed isn't the only one that needs escapism, and that Abed understands the needs of his friends. Sure, pretending to be your friend so they don't have to face their issues isn't the healthiest thing, but it makes sense with how Abed knows how to be a friend. It's kinda toxic and very flawed, but it's a genuine effort to support Troy.
Freaky Friday. Oh, Troy, you are so thoughtful. I wish I had the capacity for sentimentality like you do.
Me? I wish I was more like you. No emotional hang-ups, endless cool adventures. You have it so easy.
No, you do, Troy.
No, you do, Abed. I wish I could switch places with you for just one day.
Sorry. Routine light switch check.
I thought that would work.
Yeah, we're all floored it didn't.
Adding to that, the decision to end the relationship between Britta and Troy works. In fact, it works better than their relationship did most of the time. Troy, as a character, was growing, while the show had a bit of a habit of doing the opposite to Britta. The way the characters were moving never really felt compatible, and so their relationship really felt forced. I'd say breaking them up is the best thing the season did. I also adore the B-plot, where the Dean starts acting like he and Jeff switched bodies. Rash is hilarious and steals every scene he's in while acting as the Dean pretending to be Jeff. And the way everyone else reacts to it is really funny too. Meanwhile, Chevy is amazing at not being there at all. You could tell how passionate he was about that idea. All in all, the episode works because it's well written, it doesn't mimic the past, the characters have room to change, and it's written by someone who's been involved with the show from the start. Rash clearly loved the show and clearly knew exactly why it worked. So, on IMDb, Heroic Origins is the highest ranked episode of Season 4. And while I like it, I do think it's mimicking Harmon in tone a lot more than these two. These two episodes feel as though they have a better understanding of the show itself, through character relationships and through the use of tropes to build on the characters, instead of to remind the audience of past episodes. I think these are the best episodes of the worst season. In fact, I think they'd hold their own fairly well even in the other seasons. Thank you for watching. Please please check out my other Community videos, including part 2 of this one when it comes out. Let me know what you think, and consider subscribing and following me on Instagram or Twitter. Feel free to recommend any shows or movies. Who knows? I might make a video about it.